do I still think that the native token of MultiversX called EGLD could hypothetically go to the price of $1,000 during this bull run? The answer is yes. And of course, I'm not saying this is a guarantee or anything like that. The way to take a look at it is that MultiversX has the fundamentals to very well allow for that to happen, because you take a look at how, in my opinion, arguably, it's one of the greatest blockchain networks out there. As a matter of fact, it's even been stated that it's decentralized, through 3,000 plus nodes, scalable through sharding, it's fast, it's secure, and it's green. Now, I think there's two key takeaways from this, right? The first is that, the word sharding, and also the second is, the green aspect. However, before I get into that, let's talk about sharding first, because if we take a look at, sharding technology, just like generally speaking, right? We see something like Zilliqa use sharding technology. We see something like the Near protocol. We see Harmony. So I think this right here is very amazing. But again, generally sharding, the network is split into multiple sections known as shards. And, workload on the network is distributed amongst these different shards. And as a result of that, of course, the network does become very scalable. So I think that right there is amazing. Now, some people out there, they may think that, okay, sharding is, complete caca because, oh, wow, more than one uses it. But in my opinion, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. Like, for instance, of course, there's so many decentralized finance projects out there, but does it mean they're bad? No. If anything, if there's many, I think that's a great sign. It showcases that it's actually something fantastic. It's an amazing concept, much like sharding. I think it's an amazing concept as well. So why not? Not to mention, we take a look at the green aspect when it comes to MultiversX, because allegedly they are very, environmentally friendly, allegedly even carbon neutral. Now, why is being environmentally friendly such a good thing? It's because if you actually take a look at it, enterprises nowadays, they want to go green. They care about the environment. This is just the change of the times. They just care about this type of stuff nowadays. And MultiversX, they're fully equipped to, handle that, because they understand where it's heading. They understand the trends. So if you actually take a look at it, let's say an enterprise who actually cares about the environment, let's say they have two choices, like a certain blockchain versus another one. Let's say the fundamentals are pretty much the same. And let's say this enterprise, they have a priority towards, being environmentally friendly. Guess which one they're going to choose if, let's say, one is environmentally friendly while the other one isn't. They're, of course, going to choose the one that's environmentally friendly, even if, let's say, the fundamentals might be a little bit off, if that makes sense. So MultiversX, I think by, again, having that aspect, that quote unquote green aspect, right? That right there does give it a natural advantage, in my opinion, as opposed to the majority of the competition, which in some cases we see many of them not really caring about this type of stuff. So I think that right there is very fantastic. Not to mention as well, even MultiversX themselves claim that they are the most advanced blockchain architecture in the world and the most impactful ecosystem spanning DeFi, aka decentralized finance, NFTs, Web3, and the metaverse. Now, granted though, MultiversX isn't some sort of DeFi, NFT, or metaverse project, but at least again, it showcases that we could very well see those type of amazing projects on the MultiversX ecosystem. And I think that, if anything, showcases how MultiversX can fully support, those type of projects to its, hypothetical full potential, because of course, MultiversX very scalable, very fast. It's very amazing overall. So that right there is, of course, such a great thing. And what I like about MultiversX is that there's a very good staking ratio when it comes to EGLD. So that's amazing. Not to mention as well, I think MultiversX could very well be the next big narrative moving forward, because people, they often like the next big thing. They like Ethereum, they like Bitcoin, they like Solana, they like BNB. It's only fair to assume that the next one could very well be MultiversX. People usually, again, want to look for the next big thing. So after they moved on from Bitcoin, for the most part, they looked at Ethereum. Then they looked at something like BNB, Solana. So I think it's only fair to assume that MultiversX, again, could be that next amazing thing, but it's just only a matter of time. And unlike Solana, by the way, MultiversX doesn't suffer from unreliability nonsense. What do I mean by this? I mean, you take a look at Solana. At one point, it experienced 8 different network outages in just a time span of a year. Now, granted, it's allegedly been fixed, but who knows about the long term? 8 in a year is really bad, in my opinion. That's nearly once a month. I mean, could you just imagine that, right? That's complete nonsense. So if you take a look at Solana, even though I don't think it's a bad layer on blockchain, And also, I'm bullish on some Solana meme coins. Even despite that, I do think that MultiversX does have it beat in terms of reliability. Now, some people, they may argue that, okay, adoption for MultiversX isn't as good as Solana. I agree with that. But if you take a look at Solana, the adoption really isn't the best in my opinion. People keep saying that it's better than MultiversX, but if you consider like how it's primarily known for being a place for meme coins, its adoption really isn't like that dynamic in my opinion. You know, I think arguably it's better than a lot of layer 1 blockchains out there, but even still, despite that, you know, in terms of its adoption, I don't know why people keep saying it's so amazing. So when people like to argue that when it comes to MultiversX, they say, oh, the adoption is so bad, all this type of stuff. You know, it can't do well during a fully fledged bull run. Solana has done very well despite the adoption primarily, you know, being a place for meme coins. I mean, come on. In the world of cryptocurrencies, it doesn't really matter because people care about hypothetical upside. So when they take a look at EGLD, they see it being relatively quote unquote like low, even though the price has pumped quite a bit, which I made a very good call on, by the way. But even besides that, even despite that, you know, it's not too massive yet to the point that the room for growth is bad. Because keep in mind, $1,000 is around a 20x from here. Again, not too bad considering how much it has pumped already. Not to mention the price at that point, right? Again, $1,000, if it were to reach that, considering current circulating supply and market cap would be around $28 billion. You know, Dogecoin reached over 80 billion. This is like peanuts in my opinion. You know, Shiba Inu reached around 40 billion. BNB reached over 100 billion. I don't think it's too much to ask for. You know, BNB, right? For as amazing as it is, here's the thing. Last year, according to Crypto.com research, slightly over 2% of the crypto hacks that happened actually occurred on the BNB smart chain ecosystem. That's not great in my opinion. That's kind of bad as well. So if you take a look at MultiversX, in my opinion, arguably, it's a lot better than BNB. You know, I think it's a lot better than Solana. So its native token called EGLD reaching the price of $1,000 during this bull run, I don't see why not. You know, that's just the way I view it. Now, this bull run could be so amazing though, because even despite Bitcoin being above the price of $100,000, I think better days are ahead because even the co-founder of Ethereum, who's also the founder of Cardano, by the way, a person by the name of Charles Hoskinson, he does predict that based on a video that he was in on November 26th, so a year to 2 years from then, right? He said that he could very well see Bitcoin reaching the price of either $250,000 all the way up to $500,000 again in the next 1 to 2 years. That's crazy. That's either $250,000 all the way to $500,000. Now, could Bitcoin reach $500,000 like let's say in a year from now? I think that's highly unrealistic. I don't think it could reach that during this bull run. You know, $500,000, I mean, come on, that's a little bit too much, but $250,000, like let's say, you know, Bitcoin only reaches that, like quote unquote, right? EGLD at the price of $1,000 at that point may seem a little bit bearish. That's just the way I view it. You know, I think it wouldn't even seem that bad anyways because a high tide raises all ships. If Bitcoin does well, the altcoin space does well, I think it's only fair to assume that EGLD will do well as well. And that's why I'm still acquiring EGLD anytime in income, acquiring, holding, and just waiting. I'm not giving up. I'm still dollar cost averaging because I think better days are ahead. And again, $1,000 during this bull run wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. And make sure to subscribe if you gained value from this video. I greatly appreciate it. It's only the captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.